In the third and final part of this crime in the Victorian era, we look at sensational crime and the newspapers.
Welcome to Literally Victorian with your host, Matthew Lee Hanson.
Hello and welcome back to Literally Victorian. My name is Matthew and I'm glad to be with you once again. So far we've covered the introduction of policing and the effect of it in the cities and the industrial cities. The Victorian age was also the age of newspapers. As literacy increased and printing technology improved, newspapers became an everyday presence in British life. Morning editions appeared in city streets, afternoon papers circulated through railway stations, and readers across the country followed events through printed reports. Among the most popular subjects in these newspapers was crime. Victorian readers were fascinated by criminal stories, courtroom trials, daring thefts, mysterious disappearances, and violent acts were reported in vivid detail. These reports transformed crime from local incident into national drama. Newspapers did more than simply record events. They shaped how those events were understood. Journalists often described crimes with dramatic language, emphasizing suspense and moral consequence. Criminals were sometimes portrayed as sinister villains, while victims were depicted with sympathy and dignity. Readers followed developments from day to day, waiting to learn how the story would unfold. In this way, crime reporting began to resemble a kind of serial narrative. Readers encountered characters, motives, clues, and resolutions much like those found in fiction. The boundary between journalism and storytelling occasionally blurred, especially when crimes remained unsolved or mysterious. This public fascination with crime reflected deeper anxieties within Victorian society. Cities were growing rapidly. Industrial life brought strangers together in crowded neighbourhoods. Traditional village structures, where everyone knew one another, were disappearing in urban environments. Newspapers gave readers a way to understand, or at least imagine, the dangers that might exist within these unfamiliar spaces. Crime reporting therefore served two purposes. It warned the public about potential threats, but it also satisfied curiosity about the darker aspects of human behaviour. Readers could observe danger safely through the printed page. Sensational crime stories also reinforced Victorian ideas about morality. Many articles emphasised the consequences of vice, greed, or dishonesty. Criminal acts were presented as cautionary tales. The newspapers reminded readers that respectability and discipline were the proper paths of life, while wrongdoing inevitably led to punishment or ruin. Yet the fascination itself revealed a contradiction. The same society that celebrated order and moral restraint also consumed stories of disorder with great enthusiasm. Tales of violence, deception, and scandal attracted attention precisely because they disrupted the ideal image of Victorian stability. Crime became both warning and entertainment. Public trials often drew large crowds. Courtrooms filled with spectators eager to hear testimony and verdicts. Some criminals became widely known figures, their names repeated across newspapers and discussed in homes and workplaces. This atmosphere of curiosity and anxiety reached its most intense expression toward the end of the Victorian era. In 1888, a series of murders in London's East End captured the attention of the entire nation. Newspapers reported each development with growing urgency. Rumours spread through the city. Police investigations struggled to keep pace with public speculation. The identity of the murderer was never confirmed. But the name that emerged from the headlines would become one of the most famous in criminal history: Jack the Ripper. In the autumn of 1888, a series of murders in London's East End unsettled Victorian society in a way few crimes had before. The killings occurred in the district of Whitechapel, an area known for overcrowding, poverty, and difficult living conditions. Narrow streets, crowded lodging houses, and dimly lit alleys created an environment where many people struggled simply to survive. It was here that several women were murdered in circumstances that quickly attracted public attention. What made the crimes especially disturbing was not only their violence, but the mystery surrounding them. The killer was never identified. Despite police investigations and intense public scrutiny, the murderer remained unknown. The newspapers soon gave him a name: Jack the Ripper. With that name, the crimes entered the public imagination. Newspapers reported every detail they could gather. Rumours circulated through the city. Letters claiming to be written by the killer were sent to newspapers and police. Some were almost certainly hoaxes, yet they fueled further speculation and fear. The press coverage transformed the investigation into a national spectacle. For many Victorians, the murders represented more than individual acts of violence. They seemed to reveal something troubling about the modern city itself. London was the largest city in the world at the time, vast and crowded. Strangers passed one another constantly in the streets. The idea that a murderer could move through this immense city undetected unsettled the public deeply. The crimes also exposed the sharp inequalities within Victorian society. Whitechapel was home to some of the poorest residents in London. Many lived in cramped lodging houses or unstable circumstances. The victims themselves were women whose lives had been shaped by poverty and hardship. For middle-class readers, following the story through newspapers, the murders offered a disturbing glimpse into parts of the city they rarely encountered directly. Fear, therefore, spread beyond the immediate neighbourhood. The mystery surrounding the killer amplified that fear. Without an identified culprit, speculation filled the void. Theories ranged widely, from foreign criminals to doctors or members of secret societies. None could be proven. Even the police, newly organised and increasingly professional, struggled to provide answers. This failure was unsettling for a society that believed strongly in order and progress. The Victorian era trusted that systems, policing, science, and investigation would ultimately restore stability. The Ripper murders seemed to challenge that confidence. Yet the crimes also revealed the power of the emerging mass media. The case became one of the first major criminal investigations shaped heavily by newspaper coverage. reports travelled quickly across Britain and beyond. Readers followed developments almost as if they were witnessing a story unfold in real time. The mystery of Jack the Ripper has endured ever since. But beyond the legend, the murders reflect something important about Victorian society itself. They reveal the anxieties of a rapidly growing city, the inequalities within urban life, and the public fascination with crime that newspapers helped to amplify. The Victorian age prided itself on order and progress, yet the shadow of uncertainty was never far away. And in the fog-filled streets of Whitechapel, that uncertainty briefly took the shape of a figure who vanished into history, leaving behind questions that remain unanswered to this day. Thank you very much for watching and for the continued support. Until next time, bye for now.